Hello, hello, and welcome to the Color Whisperer Show. And we're having some technical difficulties today, and apparently lighting is going to be another issue. Again, I tell you, this whole Zoom thing is not Zoom. We're on Streamland, StreamYard. There we go. But like, I haven't done anything different. It's so crazy. Anyway, we're here. Yay! It's been a little while. I had a lot of stuff going on, but today we're going to talk about paint. And a lot of people get really stressed out over what color to paint their house. And there's a lot of reasons for that because there's so many colors. I've had many clients because they walk into the color store and they're just like, the paint store, and they're just like, oh, the sea of colors. What do I do? And some people have very, very clear notions of, I hate this color. I don't want this color. I love this color. But then what shade? Because there's still tons of shades to look at. So the last 2 weeks, I've had a client that has been challenging. She'll admit to this too. But it has been a whirlwind just trying to get her to select colors for her home. And we're going to talk about paint wars today because that's really what this is about. I've picked out several different combinations that they would just be beautiful. But the issue isn't just about what paint color is going to go up there. It's about the family. Everybody wants input. Everybody has an opinion. And they're all different. They're all different. So in my world, there's blue people and green people. And we've talked a little bit about the seasons and stuff like that, but we're going to keep it real simple today with just blue people and green people. So the wife is a blue person. Now, what does being a blue person mean? Well, you probably already know if you're a blue person or not because you wear it a lot and you love blue. Blue people tend to gravitate towards the ocean. That makes them feel whole. They need a lot of blue around them. Blue makes them feel calm. Both blue and green make you feel calm, but one's going to relate to you a little bit more than the other. And so when you're stressed, do you seek out blue? Whether that's going into a space that's got a lot of blue in it, going to the ocean, or maybe even just being in a space where you can really enjoy the sky. That openness of the ocean, that openness of the sky, all of this is very important to the blue person. They don't want to feel crowded. They don't want things to feel heavy. They want things to feel light and airy. Green people. Her husband's a green person. So what's a green person? Well, because you got green in your closet, you already know you're a green person. But green people tend to gravitate towards the mountains. They want green in their house, lots of plants. They love, they may love gardening. That doesn't, just because you like gardening doesn't mean you're not a blue person. I've got a very dear friend who loves gardening, but she's a blue person. So where do you go when you're stressed? What's that color? If you relate more to green, I'm a green person. My hair is, there we go. Sorry. I'm a green person. And green makes me feel calm. Green makes me feel more alive than blue. Blue kind of makes me feel dull. And it does relax me. I mean, because the effects of the colors are going to do what they do. But that stillness of blue, give me green. So, green, yes.
I was just going to tell you the email did not come through, so we might have to have the discussion without the email because I just looked for the email. But I did have a question about green and everything because I had an interesting conversation about green on, of all things, TikTok. So I was on
Let
TikTok
me
a
try
couple
to
of
get
days.
that email to you again while you tell the story.
Okay, so I was on TikTok and all along those lines, and I was talking to the a young lady that was talking about her eyes, and she said that she had hazel eyes, and I have hazel eyes as well. But her eyes, she said, are kind of like mine. They're kind of greenish and all along those lines. But she said that I think it was her son that had hazel eyes, but they were more bluish hazel. And I do know that my eyes can change. And the other thing that we realize is that the eyes change based on the mood. So if you're angry, you might have one eye color or everything like that. So there are certain eyes that are a mixture, and they are based on your emotions and everything like that. But apparently, hazel eyes are notorious for that. I understand that people that maybe have blue eyes and other eyes may have a similar reaction and everything like that. But yeah, we were having a whole conversation on TikTok about eyes and this notion of hazel eyes, because hazel, in my mind, because somebody on TikTok was like, "Isn't hazel a form of brown?" And I'm like, "No, I think hazel is actually a form of green." But they were thinking that hazel was more a form of brown and all along those lines. But we were having a whole conversation around hazel and its greenish impact on the eyes and everything like that. So I'll see if the email is coming through and all in that space. But I heard you talking about green and brown. And like I told you before, there was a time in my life that I wore way too much brown. And then my younger brother said, "We're going to get you out of wearing brown because we're tired of you wearing khakis." Right now, they might be saying we're tired of you wearing blue jeans, but at that time, they were tired of me wearing khakis and everything like that. So green and brown, that's my stories around green and brown.
Okay, and this is coming from my Gmail account, so it's the Color Whisperer at Gmail.
And that's what I was looking for.
Okay, cool.
I won't pop off and let you finish this conversation. While I find
go on
the
that a little bit. So hazel eyes can run green, or like I've got hazel eyes, I've got a lot of brown, but I do have green in there too. And so I think it depends. So here's an interesting note. People who are healers tend to have green eyes.
Ah.
And as my eyes used to be dark brown, and as I've gotten older and as I've gotten more into the healing, my eyes are now hazel. I wonder if I can get close enough where you can see. Let's see. Things we do on Zoom. Okay. So you can see there's a lot of green around the edges, and there's brown in the middle, and there's some gold there too. So none of us really have all brown eyes or all blue eyes or all green eyes. There's other colors in there, and they're fun to play with. So anyway, back to our husband, who is a green person. So he wants something. Green people, did it go through?
Did not go through.
So how do we do it? Maybe I'll try it on Facebook.
Okay.
How about if I text it to you?
Text it to me and then I'll email it to myself. That could be a plan.
Okay. Entertain people for a minute here. Tell them more about your eyes. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And my phone doesn't always like to send pictures, which is a bummer, because that's kind of the only reason I have a smartphone, is so that I can send pictures. So anyway, so we have a blue person and a green person. And then we have the kids. And one of the kids is a blue person, one of the kids is a green person. So one of the kids says, "I don't want a greenhouse at all." She absolutely refuses to live in a greenhouse. Well, okay. And I understand. She's very opinionated, and I think that's great. But mom and dad are paying for the paint job, and mom and dad are paying for the house. And although I'm a big fan of, yes, the children need to have input. We've got kids that are 14 and 18, and, realistically, in 10 years, they're not going to be there, right? So anyway, maybe even less, 5 years, they're not going to be there. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we're going to turn this thing off. Well, we may need it if Mark needs it. So let me just turn it down. There we go. Oh, see, today is just tech heaven, right? We're just doing all this wonderful tech, and that's the joy of live shows, right? They said in vaudeville, kids and pets, kids and animals. You always want to be careful. vaudeville, TV, movies, they always say be careful of kids and animals because you just never know what's going to happen. And I think we can add tech into that in today's world because you just never know what's going to happen with technology and is it going to help you or not. So, anyway, so we've got this whole faction of everybody wants something different. And where do we find the middle? So, we went over there the first day and we picked out colors that honestly were beautiful. The three of us picked out colors. I went back, I got samples, we put them up. He and I were in agreement. Thought we were done. Yes, cool. Get a call 2 days later from the wife. Jeanette, we don't like any of the colors. We don't? Okay. She's like, I want it to be lighter. Okay. So what I know in my head is we picked a green color, a green person color, and she's not happy. She wants a blue person color. Okay. So now where do I find the balance between the blue person and the green person? And, you know, he was kind of happy and he's like, yeah, okay. Well, he has some input, but he's kind of letting her run the show now. So I go back again and we found some more colors. And we found this kind of green, but it's got a lot of blue in it. So it's not quite teal, but it's in, let's call it in the teal family. And the teal brings both the green people and the blue people together. And that's where we met, is in the teal. And we found a wonderful color combination. And it's beautiful. And then she calls me again. She says, nobody likes the colors we picked. And I went, what? Nobody likes the colors we picked? Oh my goodness. So we tried a couple variations on her theme. And then I said, you know what? Will you let me try one more thing? I said, I need to try one more thing for my own sanctity of mind. Is when I first went over there, I started picking out some colors that were muddy, very earthy colors, because that's what I felt the house needed and wanted. And she says, no, we want a color totally different from our house. Okay. Now this is where things got interesting too, because she says she didn't want a blue house. Okay. No blue. Cool. She doesn't want any yellow. Okay. I can do that. She doesn't want gray. Yes. I love that. No gray, because I'm so sick of gray and it's finally going out. Please, please, if you hear no other part of the show, if you hear no other part of anything I've ever said in all of these podcasts, gray is finally going out. Do not paint your house gray to be trendy. If you love gray, paint it gray. But do not paint your house gray to be trendy. It is going out. Whew. Finally. Don't get me started on a whole black and white crazy either. Ugly, it's going to be gone. It's not going to stick around very long. You're going to be repainting that trim or something. It's just terrible. But anyway, no gray. So yay, I was very happy to hear that. Now here's where things got really sticky. She has a tile in the backyard that they bought, and it's got a lot of yellow in it. So how do we work with yellow? Okay, I'm just checking to see if it's Mark. So otherwise I would never check it while I'm on. But I think Mark will just come in. So he hasn't been back in a while, so things must be working. So that's good. And Mark, if you are hearing me, I'm not going to answer that. If you need me, come in. So, so now I have yellow that I have to work with a lady who doesn't want any yellow. So how do I find yellow that's not yellow? Yes.
I don't know. I was not the mysterious call, so it was not me being the mysterious call. But the text did not come in, and the email did not come in. So I'm still trying to figure out what's going on and all of those lines. It might just be one of them that kind of days. But you were doing a good job of telling the story. So just give me
All right. Well, you're just gonna have to imagine it.
exactly,
See, it's a tech challenge day. What are you gonna do?
exactly.
What are you gonna do? All right. Yeah, I've been having trouble with. There's some other pictures I was trying to send to somebody, and they wouldn't send, and it was driving me crazy. All right, so I'm gonna turn this thing off because you're the only person that has the power to interrupt me right now, and they're being annoying.
They're
So,
being annoying, and tech has its moments and everything. Because even on StreamYard, I learned a new function, and it could be that it's a StreamYard thing. Because apparently, as you know, I do all these shows, and I'm usually using computers for various locations. And as of I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I had to start cutting off the computers that I wasn't using because they were like, "You're not using that computer for StreamYard right now, so you got to turn it off." And they would only allow me to have, I think, 3 or 4 computers open to StreamYard, even though I've got multiple StreamYard accounts, because they were basically like, "You've got too many StreamYards, too many computers open on StreamYard." So they apparently are limiting how many computers you can have on StreamYard. It's
weird,
confusing. It was confusing.
weird.
That's what I said. It's a weird tech thing. The tech people are being weird.
I've been watching some old TV shows from, that either like I was watching NCIS Origins, and it goes back to the 80s, so long ago.
Well, speaking of,
And for some people, it was a really long time ago, but it feels a little bit like yesterday, and it feels so far away. And it's like I was like, they pick up phones with
you
attached
were
to
picking up
cameras.
phones, and not only that, but
They didn't have cell phones, and
no cell
there were
phones.
computers everywhere, and it was like, you
Hey,
know,
Jeanette, along those same lines, I can relate because I've been watching. Actually, I may watch them later on tonight, but I've been watching for several days a very old show, not NCIS Origins, but another old show, and all along those lines. And that old show has something that is very outdated. I don't know that people have it anymore and everything, but it was a old show called Cold Case. You remember Cold Case?
no.
Cold Case was basically, it's a lot of the shows were set in the 80s and the 90s, but it was like murders that had not been solved. That's what a cold case is. So they're like,
Yeah.
so there are people that were, like murdered, and these are fictional murders mostly and everything, but then they would investigate what happened to that person so that the person's body could their soul could be laid to rest and everything like that. But the show was called Cold Case. They actually had a lot of these files in boxes that were stored in the police station in the basement because that's where the cold case files
Right.
were.
Right.
What did you say?
Yeah, I don't know. Do they still do it, or is everything on the computer?
I think
I
everything's
don't
probably on the
know.
computer now. That would be my guess. But they literally would go down there, and the box would have the person's name written down, usually like Jane Doe or something like that. And then after they did the investigation, they would give the person whatever their real name was and everything like that. But it was a popular show. I want to say because a lot of these storylines are set in the early 2000s, and some of the people had their crimes happened to them in like the 80s or the 90s. So I want to say the show itself might have been either a late 90s or early 2000 show.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't remember that one. But it's cool. But it's like I'm looking at these, and they're going, "Oh, back in the old days," and I'm like, "Okay, it wasn't that long ago," and they're treating it like it was, I don't know. It was a nicer time, I
It
guess.
was it was a different time. I know you can get back to colors, but in that same realm and everything along those lines. And I think there may be one at our local bus station. I should look when I go to Haytide to see if it's still there. But do you remember those days when you could go down, definitely downtown, and you could go to bus stations or train stations, and there would be this little popular thing. Speaking of cell phones, that would be there at those locations. I know there was one there a few years ago. It might still be there, but I remember the days when payphones were prevalent. Payphones were all over the place.
There's none here. There's no payphones anymore.
No more payphones.
No more payphones. You know
Can't
what's really sad though? All those British payphone boxes, they're all gone too. Some of them have been converted into libraries or other things. But that was such a quintessential British thing, and now it's like gone.
On. It's not fair.
And I saw a thing on Facebook the other day. There's remember Bob's Big Boy? Did you have
Yes.
Bob's Big Boy in your side of the country?
Yes.
So Bob's Big Boy. So they took all the big boys out. There's a graveyard somewhere in Ohio that's just Bob's Bob's Big Boy. But I think he wasn't PC enough because I don't know why, but apparently he wasn't. I don't know if it was off brand or if he was not PC enough, or I don't know why they took them out. There's one. It used to be anyway near where my parents lived that had one, and he was still there. But it was just kind of fun to see him.
Mhm.
He'd greet you, and I don't know why they took him out, but
I don't know why they kicked him out either. Speaking of things not being PC, I actually saw a commercial yesterday that cracked me up and everything. It was a commercial. I forgot what it was a commercial for. Some product. It might have been a milk product, but the person that was buying the item was a cow, like literally a cow, like a cow person, not a cow, but like a actual moo, the animal of the cow. And so when the cow went to the door, and cows are got hooves and everything, the attendant was like, "Oh, it's a pull, not a push." And the cow was looking at him like, I don't have digits. I can't pull. I gotta wait for somebody to open the door because the cow was like, I think the cow was gonna try to push the door, and then the attendant at the store was like, it's a pull, not a push. And the cow looked at him like, you do realize I'm a cow. I can't have the hands that would actually pull it and everything. So I guess the cow was just gonna have to sit there until somebody opened the door for him coming in and everything. But the cow did you.
they have these. I've seen them in a few bathrooms, women's bathrooms, obviously, because I don't go in the men's bathrooms. But I imagine they would be in the men's bathrooms too. But us ladies, we can be a little bit more delicate sometimes too. But they have, and this was before COVID, so this wasn't a COVID thing. It's just a lot of women will the handles, and because not everybody washes their hands afterwards, so the bathroom handles are icky. So a lot of people will take their paper towel and open the door there. So what this is a little bar underneath the door. It attaches underneath the door, and it comes out, and it's got like a serrated. It's not sharp, but it's a serrated thing, so you can grip on it and you can pull the door open without touching the door.
That's what the
So
cow needed.
the cow could do that.
The cow could do that. That's what the cow needed.
Yeah.
No
Not all
doubt.
bathrooms have it, but I've been in several that have them. It's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, I know that there are 21C, and there are 21Cs all over the country. It's one of those boutique hotels. They have the bathrooms that could be a cool thing. It could also be a scary thing because one of those people that would be afraid that it would not work at all along those lines. So they have those
Yeah,
the fog ones that when you go
yeah.
in, they're supposed to fog up so nobody can see you and everything. And you hope nobody's seeing you because it's foggy on the other side too. But me and my semi-paranoid, I'd be sitting there going like, now what happens if it doesn't work and I'm sitting there taking care of business and everybody in the hotel gets to see me doing what I'm doing? So that's where that would be my great fear, is that it would work. And speaking of great fears, remember the last time you were here, because we did do this show on Monday, I wound up wearing, well, I started off all white, but then some of my white didn't work because I bought some cheap shoes, and they were cheap because I got them at a flea market and they fell apart. And then I had the white suit, and then I bought a white pants, but the white pants were drawstring tight and everything. And I don't think that the drawstring was actually fitting right. So I was afraid, speaking of those embarrassing moments, that since it felt loose, that if I got on stage, it would fall off, and I didn't want people seeing my underwear and all along those lines. So I had a backup plan. So I had jeans, my white shirt, and so it was partially white in terms of the all white, but it was still a good concert. Frankie Beverly, who was a well-known R&B singer, he passed away, I think it was last year, but his official tribute band did a great job. They did Joy and Pain and Southern Girl, which was some of his classics and everything. And then Trouble Funk, which is the go-go band, did Pump Me Up, which is a classic of theirs. And then the all-girl go-go band did a great job as well. So it's three bands. They just played this last Saturday, and I was there in non-all white, and neither was my co-host. I think she might have been in like a yellowish outfit or something like that. So neither one of us were in the all white, but we did do our MC job and all in that space. But I was having that moment just like with the bathroom, because I was going like, these pants feel a little loose. And if I get on stage and I don't feel like them falling down and me being embarrassed in front of several hundred people. So I was like, no, I don't think we'll do that.
Yeah. So I do have to leave. I have an appointment at 12, so
No problem.
I'll get a little bit more into the story. And
Get back into the
unfortunately,
story. I'm going to bounce off and let you get back into the story.
all right, sounds good. So anyway, I found this color that's very neutral, and it's in the same family as the color that I have the house. And actually, so what's funny too is she got really frustrated. She started going around the neighborhood. She found a house she really loved, and she says to me, I want to get this color. She went up to them and she asked them what the color of the house was, and they told her. And so we got the sample, put it up, and she goes, it just looks white. And I said, well, it is going on a very dark house, so it's going to look white, but it's not going to look like that once you get it on and you don't have the dark color coming through. Anyway, that one went through. So then we found another color that she found another house. She went up to them and she says, can you please tell me the color? And I said, yes. So they gave her the color. We got the sample. She put it on the house. It is almost exactly the same color as her house. It's a little bit more sophisticated, but it's the same color of her house. She was so disappointed because the whole family was like, yes, we love that color. So that's when I said, okay, we've got to look at some neutral colors that are going to work well in this house. I said, just let me do my magic. So I did. We went over there and I picked like 4 or 5 colors. And so I should say too, the house is stucco. Now the thing with stucco always takes longer. Always, always, always takes longer. And it's because the way stucco holds the paint is different. I don't know all the scientific details around it. I'm just telling you what is. So if you're picking paint colors for stucco, pick several. Go around it a couple, get a little bit more pink, get a little bit more yellow, get a little bit more whatever the colors in it. Try a couple different ones because it's going to look different on the wall than it does on your paint chip. Not if, it's going to. So you want to really test it out. So yesterday I went over, I put all these samples up on the wall, and I was like, I brought the husband out and I said, okay, she wasn't there. I brought him out. I said, okay, I like this one, and I think she's going to like this one. Which one do you like? So he pointed to one. And I said, okay, I'm going to put these in the front of the house, and we'll go from there. So I get a call this morning. So we brought it down from 4 colors to 2 colors. So yes, we're making progress. It's very, 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 very exciting. And honestly, at this point, she could do either one of them. It would be fine. It would be beautiful. The problem is she really wants to go with this kind of tealy green color. It doesn't really go with the tile. It's not bad with the tile, but it's not good with the tile. It's kind of neutral with the tile. And they're both okay with it. I'm not. And the other beige color that I just picked out, that does go with the tile. But now here we have another dilemma. So our green is a cool green. So that actually works for the blue person. Our beige is a warm beige. So that actually works for the green person. Green people tend to like warm colors. Blue people tend to like cool colors. This green can go either way. It sometimes it depends on whether it's got more blue or more yellow in it, because blue and green make yellow, right? So if it runs more blue, it's a blue person. If it runs more yellow, it's green person. However, what I think we're going to go with, for some wood. Hopefully she makes a decision this afternoon. Oh my gosh. Everybody's stressing out. So there's the blue green. It's a blue green tealy color. It's not really. It's more blue green. Um, that we're going to use for the trim, and she loves that color. And so with blue people, it needs to look light, it needs to look happy, it needs to be fun. Well, I kind of think it looks more fun with the beige and this blue trim, this blue green trim. And that goes with the tile. So I'm kind of leaning that direction. But then she threw a curveball at me today too. She says, well, what if we paint the second story the lighter green? Which looks nice too, honestly. So she's got 3 good choices. And to be honest, she could pick any of them. And the house would be fine, I think. And maybe with this, if we bring the lighter, the second color in, I think that might go with a stone a little bit more, the second lighter green. So anyway, I can't believe I can't show you pictures. I can't share you pictures right now. And hopefully next week I'll be able to tell you what they picked. Maybe they're going to start painting. Maybe I can show you pictures of when it's all done. Oh, so anyway, the families changed their mind too. So when I saw her this morning, she says, well, we've got 3 out of 4 votes on both of these colors. Now, one of these colors was the one that she called me back and said nobody likes the colors. The one that she liked, but nobody in the family liked the colors. So I think what I'm going to have to end up doing is some muscle testing today. Because honestly, both choices are good. And so maybe I'll just have to do some muscle testing. We'll see. Both selections are great. She's not going to go wrong either way. But she really kind of likes the green, the blue green. It's kind of like a silver leaf green. So it's very pretty. It is very pretty. Anyway, so we really are having issues of, it's not so much the house that is fighting, it's the people in the house that all want something different. And where do we find the middle? It's all about middle ground. There's no point in finding something. If one person says, no, I don't like it. There's so many paint colors out there. Do not stress. Do not stress. If somebody doesn't like a color, it's just next. Because we'll find a color that both people can agree on. Or in this case, even all 4. And we might get 3 of 4. I think she's okay with that. Oh my goodness. So anyway, that has been my week. So if you're struggling with colors, know that not everybody does, but a lot of people do, and it's okay. And if you need help, bring in somebody who's more knowledgeable. And, like I said, this lady, we've got 3 excellent choices, and she'll be fine with any of them. She just has to pick one at this point.
I'm struggling with colors too, because today and yesterday I've been struggling with colors because I decided that I was going to go get me some Ben and Jerry's chocolate fudge and everything like that. So I've been struggling with chocolate fudge colors and everything like that. So I've been struggling with Ben and chocolate.
I had cucumber elderflower ice cream last night, which was very different. It's good, but it's like, have you ever had garlic ice cream?
I've never had garlic ice cream.
Okay, well, so the
Fortunately, I'm not a vampire.
So the cucumber elderflower has cucumber has a little bit of a bite to it, right? There's like a little bit of sour in it. So you taste it first and it's sweet, but then it kind of kicks back a little bit of the sour at you. And there used to be a restaurant here in LA called the Stinking Rose, and everything was garlic. Oh, my God, you walked in that place, it smelled so good, and everything was so good. And then for dessert, they had garlic ice cream. Well, you got to try it, right? Because who would imagine that garlic ice cream would be good?
Was
Well,
it good?
oh my gosh, it was good. You would not believe how good it was. But garlic, even when you're eating garlic, right, it kind of comes back at you and kicks back, right?
Right.
So you take a bite of the garlic ice cream and it's sweet and flavorful. And then you're like, oh, it doesn't even taste like, oh, yes, it does. Oh, I wish I knew how to fix my lighting. I feel like I look like an Oompa Loompa.
That sounds good. I might have to try this garlic ice cream you talk about.
I don't know where you would get it. I mean, the Stinking Rose, they're gone. They might have had another restaurant in, like New York City or someplace like that. But I know this one here is gone.
Oh, well, it's gone. I hate it when restaurants leave.
Too bad.
It is too bad.
So many of my favorite restaurants are gone, and they're not really being replaced either, which is very sad.
We had a restaurant here in Durham, and I think I maybe ate there once, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was a pizza restaurant, and it had unusual pizza toppings. And I think that they had a alligator pizza topping. I'm pretty sure they had an ostrich pizza topping. So, and it didn't last long, but they had like unusual pizza toppings and everything like that. I remember alligator, and I think I remember ostrich, but those were all
The
different.
southern thing.
What? What did
That's
you say?
definitely a southern thing.
Yes, it was scary.
There's a place here that has really cool. They do like a peanut butter and jelly pizza. They
Well,
do all kinds of wild combinations. I like going there. I went there a couple weeks ago, and I forget what I ordered, but it was terrible. And the lady I went with, she's been there many times too, and it's always been like everything there is good. And we both took a bite of this pizza, and I was like, and she, it sounded good to her too, but we both looked at it and went, this is horrible. So who
yep.
knows?
Who knows? Cool. Well, I'll try to get the pictures, or you can send it to me next week. But for some reason, they did not want to come by either chat or by text or by email. But we'll see if we can't get them to work next time and everything. So we can do an abbreviated show. Maybe it's a Can Do Spice time and everything like that, unless you've got
I think it's
some
can
things
do
you want to
spice.
share because you've got your appointment.
I think it's can do spice time.
Okay. We'll do Can Do Spice, and I'll see you next week. And hopefully, we'll get those pictures right. So we'll have a week to get it together and everything like that. But as always, it's fun seeing you, Jeanette, and look forward to seeing you next week as well.
Good to see you.
Good to see
Bye.
you. Bye.
You know how people love to enjoy food and don't understand how to flavor their food or how to replicate a meal? They're interested in supplements but don't know where to begin? Well, what I do is I take the guesswork out of enjoying flavor and wellness with my flavorful spice blends so that they can create delicious meals with healing benefits. Can Do Spice was created to help cooks at any level enjoy healing through food. Every spice blend was designed to give added health benefits of natural herbs. Every blend is complete. There's no need to add any additional spice for a delicious meal. Saving you time and money while adding supplements to your meals can be both tasty and fun. My earliest memories in the kitchen began with my father, Kenny Can Do Bond, so it was fitting that I would name this line after him. I have always looked to natural remedies to supplement the body, and I found myself hiding herbs and minerals in foods for my family. That's when it hit me. Everyone needs Can Do Spice. Everyone should be having this. It's an exclusive brand for cooks at any level who want to create flavorful dishes with healing benefits that can satisfy the body and soul. Add a little spice to your life. Give Can Do Spice a try.